Good morning, Beacons. My name is Joseph Berger, and I am the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Welcome to the 2022-2023 Academic Year Convocation Ceremony of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. It brings me tremendous joy to be here with you and to see all of you here together this morning. The start of a new academic year is always exhilarating. Our campus community continues to demonstrate care, compassion, resilience, and constructive progress. And I have been heartened by the energy on campus, particularly from our students, many of whom have shared their appreciation for having the opportunity to fully engage with each other and our stellar faculty and staff. At the same time, we are also cognizant of our individual and collective responsibility to the social health of our community. And I am grateful for the leadership that is occurring at all levels throughout the entire university as UMass Boston remains at the forefront of a safe and healthy higher education institution. This is clearly a pivotal moment in our history as a global society, but it's also a truly significant new chapter for us here at UMass Boston. Moving into the future with renewed dedication to equity, a commitment to anti-racism and health promotion, the development of a stunning new campus quad that will enhance our already beautiful campus, and our mission-driven 10-year strategic plan that was launched at this time last year. At the heart of that plan is our commitment to holistic student success. As a university, we exist for our students. Their future success is priority number one. This requires an all-hands-on-deck approach as we increase successful pathways to and through UMass Boston so that students can fully realize their talents, hopes, ambitions, and dreams as the future citizens, leaders, and workers of local, regional, national, and global communities. But we are also a research university, a public research university, and the rigorous, relevant knowledge that we produce makes a difference in our communities and in the world. Our efforts are anchored by four grand scholarly challenges: climate equity and urban coastal areas, bridging divides in health equity, education for the future, and advancing a just society, local and global dimensions. Education for all is a particular focus this morning, as we are honored to have Secretary Tutwiler, a fierce champion for inclusive excellence in public education, here and throughout the Commonwealth, here as our convocation speaker. Welcome, Secretary. But we are also steadfastly for the city. In addition to our teaching and research mission, we are reciprocally engaged in our local communities. In a city that has more colleges and universities than any other in the country, we are truly embedded in the fabric of the communities we serve. And our endeavors are impactful, both locally and globally. But at the heart of it, we are a place-based institution on the harbor, here on Columbia Point, in Dorchester, and in the heart of the great city of Boston. We engage with communities at all levels, from local to global, but I want to emphasize, reiterate, that our integrity requires deep local engagement, even as we develop knowledge, proof points, and models that inform the broader and rapidly challenging world around us. Enriching our human core is also a priority. People are our greatest asset, and we cannot fulfill the ambitions of our plan without enhancing the health and well-being of our people, celebrating and sustaining the wonderful cultural wealth that we have on campus, expanding professional development, and improving the quality of work life. Our strategic plan also emphasizes that the ongoing campus improvements along with the forthcoming, soon-to-be-released Campus Master Plan, provide a blueprint for the future that will not only enhance the other strategic priorities through our work on campus, but extend our campus by strengthening existing partnerships and launching new ones in ways that help us reimagine campus boundaries to better engage with community resources that flow from our location right here in Boston. So speaking of our great local endowments and the fact that our people are our greatest assets, this morning I also have the privilege to honor our own UMass Boston colleagues, and it gives me immense pleasure to congratulate 80 of our faculty colleagues who have been recognized with promotions for the quality of their research, the impact of their teaching, and the value of their service. Of those 80, 18 faculty members received tenure and were promoted to associate professor. 17 colleagues were promoted to the rank of full professor, and 52 faculty members were promoted to senior lecturer ranks. 3 librarians were also promoted. I would ask all of those who have been promoted, who are in attendance, to rise so that we can further applaud your accomplishments. And I note that your names are listed on the screens on either side of me. Could you please rise? Thank you so much, and thank you for your ongoing dedication and service. We are also pleased to welcome 29 new tenure-track faculty colleagues recruited to this campus this academic year through national and international searches. I ask that all of our new colleagues who are here this morning rise so that we can also recognize you as your names are listed on the screens on either side of me. Welcome to you all. Before we go any further, I want to offer special recognition for the members of our teaching faculty, those colleagues in the ranks of lecturer, senior lecturer, and associate lecturer who do so much to enhance the educational experience of our students and contribute to the scholarly portfolio of the university. I would like to ask that all members of the non-tenure track faculty, whether new or continuing, stand and be recognized. Thank you. And I do want to say that ensuring that the university builds intellectual strength every year is an important mission. And there is no better way to reach that goal than to bring new voices and celebrate all voices on our faculty. So thank you to all of you. And now I have the genuine pleasure of introducing our Chancellor, Marcelo Suarez Orozco.
Thank you, Provost Berger. Good morning. It is such pleasure to welcome all of you, our new and returning students, faculty, administrators, and staff to a new academic year at UMass Boston. A very special welcome this morning to a UMass Boston alumna, City Councilor Erin Murphy. Councilor Murphy, we are honored to have you with us today. You are not only a graduate of UMass Boston, you have been an advocate, a loyal supporter, and a true friend of your alma mater and of higher education. Thank you. Thank you for your ongoing support to our university. As we say in the old country, muchas, muchas gracias. To our new arrivals, you've come to a very special place. UMass Boston has long educated students who go on to live purposeful lives and become leaders in our communities, much like our convocation speaker, Secretary of Education, Patrick Tutwiler. But you will hear from the Secretary shortly. First, following the traditions of convocations past, I'd like to begin by recognizing the winners of the 2023 John W. Ryan Award, an honor bestowed annually on the junior with the highest GPA. Named for the first chancellor of UMass Boston, the Ryan Award commemorates our first convocation and celebrates academic rigor, excellence in our student body. I said winners, plural, because this year there are two, and I am thrilled to announce this year's winners: engineering physics major Kenji Mita and political science major Cole Mansfield. Now, here is the beauty of it all. Kenji and Cole are unable to join us today because, well, being outstanding students, they are in class and they've said, thank you, very nice, but I'm not going to miss my lab, and there you have it. So we are going to celebrate them and recognize them later on in this in this semester. Now, convocation is always celebratory and filled with anticipation. But even on a joyful occasion like this, we must always remember the world outside Columbia Point. So first, I kindly ask for a moment of silence and reflection to acknowledge the victims of twin catastrophes in Libya and Morocco. Our hearts go out to our students from the region, and Student Services has reached out to them and ready to help in any way possible. Can we have a moment of silence and reflection, please? Thank you. We gathered at an unsettling time globally and in our own country, marked by broken notions of public trust, growing racialized inequality, the invasion of incivility into nearly every domain of society, Beacon agrees. We love you, Beacon. And a weakening of the practice of democratic citizenship. It is easy to react viscerally at times like this. But there's a higher road, and that is the path of education. The path of learning, discovering, approaching the existential challenges of our times from a stance of knowledge, from a stance of understanding, engagement. The power of education resides in what it gives us: critical thinking, socio-emotional skills, a topic the Secretary has spoken very movingly about. From the study of philosophy, the ability to place knowledge in context, from the study of history, from the beauty of science, from our ability to communicate complex ideas in distinct settings, from the study of the world's languages, the arts, from delving and building on the intercultural competence gained from global studies, from our analytical skills, from the social sciences. Learning in these troubled times gives us the courage to hear things we may not agree with and to stand up for the things we believe in. But above all, education gives us the tools for leading lives of purpose and taking on the challenges, the wicked challenges of our times, from unchecked climate change to geophysical disaster we saw in North Africa, to health inequities, to rebuilding a K-12 education system for all our students to flourish. At UMass Boston, through our teaching, research, and service, we seek to shape an education for the future, in part by improving outcomes for all, including immigrant children, children from historically underrepresented groups, the DACA, who feel their lives once again so threatened today. These are the issues to which I have personally dedicated much of my professional life. This entails reimagining and re-engineering the role of higher education in K-12 schooling, for example, in shaping a pipeline of diverse students who are ready to engage, ready to thrive in college. We know how to do this. Last March, I led a delegation of K-12 education leaders, including our extraordinary Dean of our College of Education and Human Development, education leaders from the Commonwealth, to Los Angeles for a learning tour of UCLA's exemplary network of university-assisted K-12 schools, where we engaged in deep discussions with our colleagues, with administrators, with principals and teachers at the UCLA Community School at the RFK complex, as well as the Horace Mann UCLA Community School in South Los Angeles. During this visit, we delved on best practices for building partnerships, purposeful partnerships, to benefit our underserved students and neighborhoods here in Columbia Point, here in our city of Boston, transforming schools into student and family-centered community hubs that provide whole child, whole person education. Indeed, education at all levels for young people of all backgrounds and embedded in our communities generates a robust marketplace of ideas, one that prepares our communities to engage meaningfully as citizens engaged in the practice of democracy. That is the fundamental point of education. Knowledge and understanding are born from the foundations of an active citizenry that reasoned with the use of evidence in public debate, free and open speech, respectful reflection and critical thought, dialogue across differences, agreeing to disagree, and perhaps above all, ethical deliberations. Today, education is the oxygen for democracy. And let me tell you, that patient needs the oxygen that education gives. That is the reason all of us are here. My message is this: while at UMass Boston, embrace the responsibility that comes with education and learning. Use it to create innovation, not simply to critique and to criticize. Be the ones whose knowledge emboldens the voices of our unheard communities, inspires advocacy for the underserved, creates technological access for the unconnected, and pioneers cures for the unhealthy. Believe that your education will enable you to be insightful, respectful, influential, a change maker in our communities and in all of the different countries that are beautifully represented in our campus in Columbia Point. This, I suspect, is one of the reasons why you chose UMass Boston, to explore, to inquire, to discover how you can make the world a better place. The world needs to be cured. You are part of that project. One of my mentors, the great late Vartan Gregorian, once wrote an essay on the perfectibility of the American idea. In it, he lauded what he called the pact of citizenship, that is, of becoming citizens who are not spectators, who are willing to contribute, to engage, to get their hands in the game for the common good, to stand for the public good, to stand for the common values that unify us. Our history at UMass Boston is replete with such examples of pacts of citizenship. When our community came together in the name of truth, science, in the name of dignity, in the name of justice, in the name of beauty, bringing to bear the power of knowledge to public conversations. For our beacons, it is always the right time to be civically engaged, to be catalysts for change and be the compassionate citizens who see that they are part of something much larger than our own individual selves. We need more of this engagement if we are to heal divisions, strengthen the public trust, and re-engineer the practice of democratic citizenship. We need education. Thank you, Beacons. Stay safe, stay strong. It is my great honor to introduce our convocation speaker, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler, our Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. A graduate of the College of the Holy Cross with a master's in education from Harvard University's Graduate School of Education and a PhD in curriculum and instruction from the Lynch School of Education at Boston College, Secretary Tutwiler is Governor Maura Healey's top advisor on all matters pertinent to education. And he is the first black person in the Commonwealth's history to serve in that critical position. Mr. Secretary, with more than 20 years of experience as a teacher, principal, and superintendent in urban and suburban school districts in our Commonwealth, and as a tireless champion of educational equity, your career has placed you in the rarefied air of educators that have the 360-degree view, understanding of public education. As superintendent of the Lynn Public Schools, you've led a collaborative, equity-centered effort that resulted in increased graduation rates, decreased push-out rates, and a more racially diverse faculty and staff, and the establishment of the second largest early college program in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Mr. Secretary, you have fostered a culture of belonging, a culture of respect, a culture of excellence everywhere you have served. And your experience reflects the Commonwealth's cultural wealth. Without question, reinventing education along these lines requires educational structures to accommodate the life experiences, the values, the aspirations, the identities of all our students. Mr. Secretary, your dedication to and leadership on invigorating pedagogy at every level has driven education stakeholders across the Commonwealth to put students and families first. As you have written, quote, educators must be committed to the student, the teachers, and the craft of teaching. We could not agree more. Please join me in giving an incredible, warm beacon welcome to our Secretary of Education, Dr. Patrick Tutwiler.
Good morning. Ooh-wee. So I was raised in the call and response tradition, that sort of reciprocal energy thing. Good morning. Good morning. B+, better. Okay. It is really wonderful to be here with you all this morning. I want to start by congratulating the newly tenured faculty and by welcoming the new faculty and everyone into this new school year. And I really appreciate how you are doing it in spirited fashion here this morning. I also want to thank the Chancellor for the invitation to be here with you. I had the great privilege of breaking bread with the Chancellor last week, and let me tell you, anyone who's had the precious opportunity to connect with you, Chancellor, will immediately know and feel your passion and your commitment for social justice, ensuring that every student has a path toward where he, she, or they want to be in their lives. And it is a pleasure to know you, and even more meaningful to me personally to call you my colleague. So thank you again for the invitation. Now, for everyone else, we are just meeting each other for the first time, and I feel duty-bound to share with you that I have a formula for speech making. Those who know me have heard this before. It's something I call my 3B formula. That is, be good, be brief, and be seated. And so you can count on me being brief this morning, and I plan to be seated upon completion. The good part, of course, is up to you to be the judge. I want to share with you that I'm a big believer in the idea that you can't separate ideas from the person. It's my intention this morning to share some ideas with you, and then I have a formal request of everyone in the room as well. But before doing so, I think it's important just to share a little bit about me. Quickly, I was raised in a single-parent household along with my big brother, Timmy. We spent the better part of our early life moving a lot, and I do mean a lot. Born in Chicago, moved to Champaign, Illinois to Austin, Texas to St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, immediately when I share that with folks, they say, oh, someone's in the military. No. All of those moves related to my mother's journey as an educator, actually. Teaching for many years in Illinois, earning a doctorate at the University of Texas in Austin, then back to the classroom at the college level, teaching aspiring teachers in St. Paul. Through all of this, my brother and I watched very closely. With the deep knowledge of an educator and the fierce love of a mother, we watched her fight for my brother and me to ensure that we received the best possible education, no matter what state we found ourselves. We watched her safeguard our potential, respectfully disagree about our placements, labels even, that might otherwise have attached themselves not only to our transcripts, but internally to our view of ourselves as learners. We watched her type a dissertation on a typewriter. We watched. These experiences inform who I am as an educator in so many ways, an educator who operates from a firm set of core values, the core of which is love for students. That matters. An educator who seeks to listen and to understand the stories and experience of students and their families, because I know that having that understanding, validating those experiences, is key to a successful partnership. An educator who will respectfully and almost never apologetically disagree when a decision does not center students and their best interests at its core, because that matters. An educator who feels strongly that the mark of a thriving and healthy school is its ability to reach and elevate its most underserved population. I said I wouldn't go on long here this morning, and I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it there. But I thought it was important to share with you a little bit about who's sharing the ideas this morning, because that matters. Now that's me. On to the ideas. We've been at it now for just about 9 months, and I typically introduce myself as the new Secretary of Education, and I'm intentional about using that descriptor new because I think with newness comes forgiveness and understanding. But since the very first day, and I do mean the first day in this role, folks have been asking me about my vision for education across the Commonwealth. And I'm the type of person who believes deeply that a sustainable vision can't be imposed. It must be formed collaboratively with active involvement of the communities it impacts. In our vision for education in the Commonwealth, we have to be intentional to see those who the proposed shifts and enhancements will impact. We have to see the educators and the educational leaders in direct service roles. We have to see students and their families. So I have and will continue to dedicate significant time to hearing from students, educators, leadership, staff, caregivers, members of the education community, and partners. That includes this community, you. What I've seen and heard thus far in my role has made it abundantly clear that we continue to live and work in an interesting context that I frequently refer to as pandemic recovery. We continue to see and experience the ripple effects of the pandemic. With this perspective, in January, the Executive Office of Education developed a set of organizing principles designed to give shape to budget and policy initiatives to meet the present moment and years ahead. Those organizing principles are stabilize, heal, and transform. The use of the words stabilize and heal are deeply intentional and designed to convey that we are still in a recovery period. We're not back. There are major areas, staffing and mental health, by way of example, where we continue to experience great challenge which must be addressed if we are to stabilize and heal. But we didn't stop with the organizing principles of stabilize and heal. We're not just trying to get back. Including the principle transform was just as intentional. We're envisioning a future beyond what existed before. We're envisioning a future beyond what existed before the pandemic and are working toward creating lasting change that is not limited by previous goalposts. Our push to reimagine early literacy and the high school experience and transform access and supports during the higher education experience are a few among important places where we've dropped an anchor in the transform space. No doubt the priorities within this framework will evolve over time. They have to allow us to be nimble in addressing important issues that arise. The most recent Supreme Court case and decision eliminating race consciousness in higher education admissions is one example. We've got a lot of work to do in this state, and we believe this framework will add clarity and direction to our thinking. Now, I've said a little bit about me. I've offered you an idea, a framework. Now I have a request, and it's, I think, a fairly simple one. Run. Not away from here. Let me go on. We find ourselves in an interesting time, don't we? We're still wrestling with the ripple effect of the pandemic and wrestling with some important questions. The Chancellor certainly alluded to this. Who has a seat at the table where decisions are made that will impact people's lives? Whose needs will we champion? Who will define the future? I ask you to run because it feels like the right verb to capture the urgency of not just the questions that I posed, but a myriad of challenges we're experiencing in society. Yes, it also signals progressive and intentional movement towards something. Think about the concept of running, literally running. You must admit that there are countless moments up to this point where we've all been told not to run. You cannot run. No running in the hallways. No running by the pool. Stop running in the house. Slow down. I'm sure at some point most of you have even had that literal directive put into the old metaphorical caution, you have to learn to walk before you run. As young people, the adults in our lives have set these limits for many reasons, to protect us, to protect others potentially, to teach us lessons about preparation, not rushing into things before you know what you're doing. All valuable motives, but whatever the motivation, it seems that running is given a bad rap and limited place in our lives, particularly when we were younger. It's relegated to something you do only in your free time after all the serious business has been taken care of or tended to. Now, the Chancellor informed me in advance of today that we're in community this morning with faculty, staff, and some students, and I ask of all of you, I need you to start running and to become a runner in your lives. Now, you can certainly take that request literally, and I probably should do the same at some point, but the greater hope is that you view what lies ahead of you as a course and realize soon that being a runner on that course will bring to your journey certain principles that will make your life not a race nor even a competition, but a rewarding, authentic, impactful experience from start to finish. Be a runner in your life to have momentum, to be ever in pursuit of a goal. But even more, be a runner to be in control of that momentum, to find your personal balance in pursuit. The great Jesse Owens once said that, I always loved running. It was something you could do by yourself and under your own control and power. You could go in any direction, fast or slow as you wanted, fighting the wind if you felt like it, seeking out new sights, just on the strength of your own feet and the courage of your lungs. Friends, as runners, go in any direction you choose, but towards something, always. Be your own source of power, your own strength. I know each of you here today has a reason for being in the seat where you're currently seated. For some of you, the reason is a goal, one that's been calling your name since before you can remember. For others, that reason is a person, the one who's been pushing you further than you ever pushed yourself. For others still, the reason is a curiosity that's been tugging at you long enough to land you here today. As a runner in your life, hold on to that reason. Think of it as the start line. When you question what you're running toward, as you will at some point, remind yourself what got you here. Be your own inspiration, your own competitor. Become a runner in your life to stay exuberant. When I was a little boy, long time ago, I could never understand why adults walked everywhere. I mean, we ran everywhere as kids, didn't we? And we never seemed to tire. We didn't run because we were trying to build endurance or reach a goal or lose a few pounds. We ran because we couldn't wait to get there, wherever there was. And it's that exuberance that I want you to exemplify on your course. Keep that little part of you that as a child that was so excited about the possibility of something that failure never entered your mind, and your eager anticipation left your body no choice but to run. Whether it's during your course selection for the students among us today, meeting new student communities, or designing the next research endeavor, find things here, big or little, that give you the same feeling you got the first time each summer when you saw the ice cream man. Run to those things with the same excitement that you ran after that truck. We all still have that in us. Run with it. Finally, be a runner in your life because you'll quickly learn that you must travel light. And that most successful and longest runs are those by those who travel with only what they truly need. As you move forward from this day, I hope you'll be quick to leave behind the stuff that will slow you down, that will get in the way on your course. Travel light and leave behind the weight of self-doubt, the heaviness of others' expectations, and the burdens of regret. Take with you only what you need and leave behind those who will not run beside you, or in the very least, move out of your way and cheer you on as you go. The truth is, friends, we need you to run. And we need you to treat this like a sprint, not a marathon. Each individual in this space has the potential to do great things, to solve pressing issues, and we're relying on you to get there. We're counting on the excellent instruction and experiences that the faculty and staff will deliver, and the gifts of skill and knowledge the students will grow to be part of the solution of the challenges we're experiencing. And that is why this is not just a suggestion, but a formal request. I'm sincerely asking. Far too long you've been cautioned to slow down, but now we're counting on you, cheering for you to speed up. I'll leave you with this. UMass Boston family, you have the tools, the mindset, the stuff to succeed in the course set in front of you. You have the countless options before you this fall for the students among us, and your job is to eagerly and hungrily go toward them, flexing those muscles of knowing yourself and pursuing what captivates you. It's no longer time to be cautious. You've walked before, I'm sure, and now it's time to run. Let's run. Let that run begin in earnest this week, and I wish you all the best for a wonderful school year ahead. Thank you for having me here this morning.
Secretary, thank you for your remarks. Thank you for being here with us this morning as we celebrate the opening of the new academic year. I will take your advice. Maybe risky for me at my age with my niece to pick up running again. Before I conclude this year's convocation ceremony, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the wonderful, wonderful team of staff who worked so very hard to make this day possible. Your efforts, your good work, your commitment to UMass Boston, very, very much appreciated. Now, please join me and members of the UMass Boston leadership team as we run to the front of the campus center for a barbecue luncheon. Thank you all for being here today. Have a wonderful, wonderful academic year. Thank you.